Okay, guys. So we're on week 3 of school closure. Hopefully, week 3, and there won't be a week 4. But anyway, we keep going and motor through this topic as best we can. I'm going to start by correcting the homework from last week. So the homework's up here. So it's 11.2. So we're in this exercise here, and I highlighted this for you last week. So we're going to go through a few of these, and then I'll let you correct it yourself. So for question 1 then, what they're asking you to do, identify the start term, find the first difference, fill in the red box, and write a sentence to describe each sequence. Okay, so if we do 1A here, so if we look at 1A, well, 1A has 5, 11 and 17. Think, well, how are they connected? What's the difference between 5 and 11? To go from 5 to 11 you add 6. To go from 11 to 17 you add 6. So you can assume that that's the rule. So you're going to add 6 and add 6 all the way along. I'm just going to put my iPad down, draw, and I'm going to add those up. I'm put the answers in. So 17 and 6 is going to give me 23. Add 6 again, it's going to give me 29. Add 6 again, it's going to give me 35. So what they're asking us to do is fill in the boxes, which I've done, and write a sentence. So if I were to write a sentence with this one here, the sentence is going to be, it starts with 5, so that's our first term, and you add 6 every time. So it starts with 5 and add 6 every time. I'm going to do the second one for you. I'll tell you what, I'll skip down as far as C. You can correct B. I'll show you where the answers are in a second. We're looking for our first term. First term's 8, and then it goes down to 3. So how do I get from 8 to 3? I'm going to take away 5. How do I get from 3 to minus 2? If I was to draw a number line, it would take away 5. We're going to assume you take away 5 all the time. And then when I take 5 away from minus 2, it's going to give me minus 7. Take away 5 again, it's going to give me minus 12. Take away 5 again, it's going to give me minus 17. So if I was to write that in a sentence, my sentence would be, it starts with 8, and you take away 5 every time, every term. Okay, that's question 1 done for you. Question 3, I'll just do one of these because I'll show you where the answers are, and you can do the rest of them. So I'll do 3B. So I'm not going through every single one of them. So what they're asking you to do, they're telling you, which is great help, that this is a linear sequence. So you know that in a linear sequence, the first difference is going to be the same. So all the difference in this number is going to be the same as between this number, and so on, all the way along. So if I go to B, well, the first term I'm looking at is 18, then it goes to 21, then it goes to 24. I can be fairly sure I'm going to add, what's the difference between them? It's going to be 3, isn't it? So I'm going to keep going, 27, add 3 to 30, add 3 again to 33, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to fill in the missing numbers. You do the same for all this. I think part A you're adding 4 every time, and part B you're adding 7 every time all the way along, plus 7 plus 7. And I'll show you where the solutions are in a sec. Okay, on to number 5 then. So question 5, they want you to put a sentence according to these. So this is very like what we had up here in question number 1. Put a sentence to these. So again, I'll do 2 because it's 5 and you can do the rest. We do B and E, sure. Part B, so the answer to part B in words is going to be starts at 26, and then I got to figure out the rest of the sentence. What else is there? Okay, 26 to 22. Okay, taking away 4, taking away 4, taking away 4, taking away 4 every time. So starts at 6 and take away 4 each term. So every time you move from one number to the next, you're taking away 4. If we go on then to part E, and they're saying, okay, the first term is 75. So there's the start of my answer. So starts at 75, and what's it going? So 75 to 55, 55 to 35. Can you see the pattern? 35 to 15. So every time you go between, you are taking away 20, taking away 20, taking away 20, taking away 20. So starts at 75 and minus 20 each term. Okay, and so I'll let you correct the other 3 from your homework. I gave you 6 as well, so get down to 6. Let's have a look. Again, they're telling us very nice linear sequence, so we know the differences are going to be the same. It's not one of those dodgy ones where you have to look for the second difference, whether it be quadratic or whether it be exponential like we had later on, but we might get to them in a minute. So term 1 is 16, term 2 is going to be 18, so you're just going up in, and I want you to describe the pattern as well, look. So same sentences we had up here. So we go and we say 16, 18, this is going to be 20, this is going to be 22, this is going to be 24, and this is going to be 26. So exactly the same kind of sentences. Starts at 16. Sorry, I know my writing's terrible. 16 and plus 2 each. So 2 is added every time you're moving from one to the next, to the next, to the next. You're adding 2 every time. I'll jump down here to number 3. Now, okay, they're leaving out the first one here. So where have we gone? So we're thinking, well, we have a 20 here and we have 32 here. So we're looking to see, well, how do we find out then what's after how because we have 2 jumps to make. So you're thinking, well, what's the difference between 20 and 32? That's going to be plus 12. So somewhere in the middle here we have another term, not 2 plus 12. So if we half 12, we're going to get 6. So if we add 6 onto 20, this is going to be 26. And then we'll go up, keep going from 26 to 32. You add 6 again, which is going to give you 38. And then we go back to, we still need to find these 2 terms back here. So we take away 6 from 20, it's going to give us 14. And take away 6 again from 14 is going to give us 8. So all the time, you're still adding 6 all the time because it's a linear sequence. Okay, and again, the sentence they want at the end, it starts at 8 plus 6 each term. Okay, a little trickier because they're giving us this and this to begin with, but we just go forward and go back to figure out what each term is. Okay, after 6 then I asked you to move on to question number 8, wherever that is. 8, here we go. Okay, and I already did B for you. So what we'll do is we'll just do one more of these. I'll do 8D for you. Okay, and what are they saying here? For each of the following sequences, identify whatever is, okay, they're not telling us this time. We have to figure out, is it linear or non-linear? Okay, so I'm going to try and squeeze this in so it's beside the question for you. So we're going to do D. So I'm going to write these out. So we've 14, we've 30, we've 46, we've 62, and we have 78. I'm going to put my V things in the middle there because I'm going to be seeing what's the difference in these. So I'm going to say, right, the difference between 14 and 30 is 16. The difference between 30 and 46 is 16. The difference between 46 and 62 is 16. We're okay, we're on a winner here. And the difference between 62 and 78 is 16. Okay, so because the first difference is the same, this is going to be linear. They ask for an explanation, give a reason why you're saying linear. Because the first difference is plus 6. Okay, and remember from last week's lesson, if this wasn't all plus 16, plus 16, plus 16, plus 16, then we'd have to go again to see if the second difference was the same, see whether it was quadratic or exponential. You go back to last week's video if you're not sure about that, or you can just ask me, whatever you want. Okay, after question 8, I gave you question, what's the last one? After 8? Question 11. So question 11 was here. Question 11 was a nice question actually. And it goes down to the next page as well. So we just have a look here at question 11. So question 11 says draw pattern 4. Okay, so they want you to draw pattern 4. I'm just going to get rid of this from last week so I can draw pattern 4 for you. Okay, get rid of this. So we draw pattern 4. So if you have a look at the first pattern is just a pen, then they add 3 to make a square, then they add another 3 to make 2 squares. So if we look at pattern 2, so I'm going to fill in the blanks. No, I won't. I'll do it as they ask me to do it. I'll draw pattern 4. So pattern 4 is going to look like pen, 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 pen. So this is the same as pattern 2, or sorry, pattern 3. So this is P3. But if I want to add on pattern 4, I add another square. So that's going to be pattern number 4. So I'm adding another 3 pens. Copy and complete the following table. One row is done for you. So in pattern number 2, we're going to have 4 pens and 1 square. That's pattern 2 here. Pattern 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is going to be 7 pens and 2 squares. And the one I just drew is going to be pattern 4. So that's going to have 4, 7. That's going to have 10 pens and it's going to have 3 squares. And say, well, pattern number 5, we haven't asked to draw that, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just add it on here in a different color pen. If I'm to add pattern number 5, it's just going to add on another 3 pens and it's going to give me an extra square. So this is me adding on pattern 5, just to show you what it will look like. And that, I'll do it in the same color pen, is going to be 13 pens and 4 squares. Okay. So if we go and look at what they're asking, describe in your own words the sequence for the number of pens. So, well, the sequence for the number of pens, okay, fair enough. Well, back to the same thing. Well, it starts 1 pen. And how many pens are added every time? Well, let me see. Well, it went from 1 to 4, from 4 to 7, from 7 to 10, and from 10 to 13. So how many pens are you adding every time? 3. Added each time, or each term. Okay. What about the squares? Well, we start with no squares. Up here, we had no squares to start, and here we're jumping from 1 square to 2 square to 3 squares to 4 squares, and 1 square each time. Okay, how many pens will pattern 6 have? Well, if we're going up in this function here, in this pattern here, well, if we're to add, well, how many will pattern 6 have? Well, if it's going up in 3 each time, it's going to have 16 pens and 5 squares. You're adding 3 every time and 1 square every time. So how many pens will it have? The answer is going to be 16. And how many squares will pattern 10 have? Well, if pattern 2 has 1 square, pattern 3 has 2 squares, pattern 4 has 3 squares, pattern 5 has 4 squares, pattern 6 has 5 squares, we're going to keep going up. So 7 is going to have 6, 8 is going to have 7, 9 is going to have 8, and 10 is going to have 9 squares. So it's going to have 9 squares. Okay? So you're adding 1 every time you go up. Okay. The last question is essentially the same as question number 12. Or so this is question 12 is the same as number 11, and I'll let you correct that one yourselves, as you can correct all these questions yourself, because all the answers are done out here. So I have them all there. So what I'd like you to do is at the end of the lesson, you can go back and correct, and I'd like to see those corrections done in the homework section of your OneNote. Okay, let me just give you one thing for today. Okay, one extra piece of learning for today. So add on to that slightly, and you can let me know if you're getting lost. And we're nearly finished this topic, by the way. Okay, so this is kind of just bringing it into the real world, real kind of problems that you might use patterns for. So a couple of examples. If you have the height of a plant, right, and the plant, when you get it, so when you get it and you put it in the soil, it's 4 centimeters to start with. And every day after that, it grows 3 centimeters a day. Okay, so you end up with a table like this that you can fill in as the plant grows. Copy and complete the table, and then I suppose these kind of questions here is what type of sequence what's the height after 7 days and 20 days? And is this realistic? So is this a kind of a realistic thing you're going to get for a plant? So for part A, is all you're doing, because it grows, it starts off at 4 centimeters, and every day you're adding 3. And then what you do is you get this group of answers here. Here's the new height of the plant. So it starts off at 4 centimeters, then it grows to 7, 10, 13, 16, 19. Okay. Part B asks us what type of sequence. So you know that because you're adding 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, the first difference is the same. This is going to be a linear sequence. So the height after, up here, the height after 7 days, you're going to add, so you could do this easy enough by doing 6 and 7 and adding 3 and adding 3 again and working it out that way. Or you could say, right, I had 4 days, I had 4 centimeters at the start, and then I had 7 days of 3 centimeters a day. So 4 plus 7 multiplied by 3, which gives you an answer of 24. Or I could do it up here. So I'm at, after 5 days, I'm at 19. And then I add 3 to that and 3 again, and that would also give me 24. So I could do it by adding up. But the problem is if you get questions like this one here, 20 days. So the second part of the question, then you're going to have to go, you'd be doing plus 3s all the way down the page. Or if it lasts for 80 days, we're in trouble. So this is why this calculation is a nice one. We want to work out 20 days. We have our 4 centimeters at the start plus 20 days of 3 centimeters. So 4 plus 20 multiplied by 3. And that gives us 64. And you should try that on your calculator. Is it realistic? No. The plant can't keep growing at a rate of 3 centimeters per day forever, or it would be absolutely ginormous in a couple of weeks. So it's not realistic. But they'll always ask that kind of question. Do you believe this could actually happen? Okay, the second one I want to show you is this one here. John has a certain amount of money. He decides to put the same amount of money in his account every week. Okay, so you might say, I'm going to put 20 euro into the post office every Thursday. And you see, if 100 euro start off with, you're going to put 20 euro in, and how much is it going to give you at the end? But this example here says, so how much money does he save per week, and how much money did he have before he started putting the money in? So they're saying, well, here's week 4. At week 4, he had 1,500 euros saved up. At week 3, he had 1,250 euros saved up. So before I even worry about the question, I'm wondering, well, how much has he put in going from here to here? And if you take 1,500 minus 1,250, what he's doing there, he's added in 250 euros between week 3 and week 4. And because it says in the question that he's putting the same amount in every week, you can start filling in the numbers. And as they do down here, they say, right, what's the first question? How much money John saves per week? So we know that straight away because we've worked it out. So the answer to that straight away is 250 euros. The second one, we'll fill in the rest of the table. So we'll move back. If we take 250 away again, it's going to give us 1,000. Take away 250, 750. Take away 250, 500 euros. Okay. So we know how much he saved all the way along. So how much had he got originally? Well, here's our number here. That's how much he started off with at week 0. So our second one answer there is going to be 500 euros. The second part of that question is just here. How many weeks does it take John to have 8,000 in his account? So we know that after a week, after 4 weeks, we know he has 1,500 euros. But how long would it take him to get to 8,000? Right. So if he already had 500 euros at the beginning, and every week he added 250 euros. Well, we say, right, well, let's take away the 500 at the start. So we have 8,000, take away the 500 euros. He has to save 7,500 euros. That's how much he has to put into the account. You say, well, how many 250s go into 7,000. So how many 250s would he have to put in to get 7,500 euros? And the answer is 30. So you divide the weekly amount into the amount that he has to save in total. And that gives 30 weeks to get his 8,000 euros. Okay, so what I want you to do for the next day is here. It's exercise 11.3. So two things I want you to do. One, go back and I want you to correct your homework from the last day and answers here on the right. And the second one, what I want uploaded before our next class is these questions here. So they're based on this here, on real life examples. I've highlighted the ones I want you to do. It's exercise 11.3. I've put it down here. This is what is due. 11.3, question 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And if you get those uploaded for me by the start of the next lesson, and now at the end of the video, since we're live today, I'll take any questions or concerns that you may have. Okay.